I needed the overtime money. Around 11:30 p.m., a customer walked in. That was strange because we usually closed at 10. He was tall, wearing a dark brown coat, even though it wasn't cold. His face looked pale under the lights. He introduced himself as Mr. Alan Reeves and said he wanted to buy a specific car parked in the back lot. I remember feeling uneasy. He didn't look at any car except one, a black 2009 sedan that had been sitting there for months. Nobody wanted that car because of its history. The previous owner had died in it during a highway accident. Management kept it for sale anyway because business was slow. Mr. Reeves didn't even test drive it. He just kept touching the car door like he was greeting an old friend. That was the first S. Suspense started building in my chest. Then he asked me something strange. "Do you believe cars remember things?" he said. I laughed nervously and said cars are just machines. He looked at me seriously. "Not this one." He paid cash. No negotiation. Just handed me thick bundles of bills wrapped in old newspaper. Mark whispered to me that the money looked old, like it had been stored somewhere for years. When Mr. Reeves drove away, I noticed something terrifying. The car's rear lights were slightly flickering, even though the engine sounded perfectly normal. Mark told me to forget about it and finish inventory work. So I stayed inside while he went to lock the front gate. That's when I heard it. A faint knocking sound coming from the back storage room. 3 slow knocks, then silence, then again. I walked slowly, thinking maybe Mark was playing a prank. But Mark was outside. I could see his shadow through the glass door. The knocking became louder, like someone was hitting metal from inside a locked room. I unlocked the storage door with shaking hands. Nothing was inside except old spare tires and dusty tools. Then I heard breathing behind me. Heavy breathing, like someone was standing right next to my ear. I turned. Nobody was there, but the temperature suddenly felt freezing. My phone battery dropped from 70% to 3% in seconds. That was when I felt the second S. Shock. I ran outside. Mark was already inside his car, ready to leave. He told me something weird. He said he saw a man standing near the black sedan in the parking lot, but there was no one there when I checked. I decided to stay inside the showroom until midnight to calm down. Big mistake. At exactly 12:03 a.m. my phone started playing random static noise. Then a voice came through. It was a woman crying softly. She kept repeating, "Don't let him drive. Don't let him drive." Then the call cut. No number. Just unknown caller. I looked outside through the glass windows. The black sedan was back in the parking lot. Engine off. Lights off. But the driver's seat door was slightly open. I swear I had watched that car drive away earlier. That was when I noticed something written on the showroom glass from outside. Someone had written with dust on the glass, "He is still inside." I turned around slowly. The storage room door was open again, and this time I heard footsteps walking slowly toward me from inside the dark hallway. Heavy, slow, like someone dragging something behind them. I didn't move. I just stood there praying. Then I heard a man's voice whisper right behind me, "Thank you for selling me my car back." I didn't sleep for 3 days after that night. The police didn't believe me. They checked the CCTV footage, but said it only showed me walking around the showroom alone. No customer, no Mr. Reeves, no black sedan ever leaving or returning. But I knew what I saw. 2 days later, Mark didn't show up to work. His phone was switched off. His family later told me he was found unconscious inside his apartment, mumbling about a car engine sound that kept running even though his car was parked outside. That scared me even more. Then on the 4th night, I received an email. No sender name, just a single message. "Come to Lakeside Motors. I want to show you something." I shouldn't have gone, but curiosity and fear are dangerous together. I reached the showroom at 10 p.m. The lights inside were already on. I was sure I turned them off when I left earlier that day. The black sedan was parked exactly in the center of the showroom floor. That was impossible. The doors were locked. Windows were intact. But the car was inside. The third S started now. Surprise turning into terror. The engine suddenly started on its own. Slowly. like someone was waking up inside. The radio inside the car turned on. Static again. Then a woman's voice singing an old English lullaby. The same voice that called me earlier. Then I saw Mr. Reeves standing behind the reception desk. This time I could see his face clearly. His eyes were completely black. No white part, just darkness. He told me the truth in a calm voice. He said he died in that car accident years ago. His family had been driving with him, but only he didn't survive. His spirit was stuck because the car was sold and resold, never buried with him. He said every owner of that car had died within months. He didn't want to hurt people. He just wanted someone to listen. Then he said something I will never forget. My body is still in the trunk. The trunk of the sedan slowly opened by itself. I didn't want to look, but my body wouldn't move. Inside was a human skeleton wearing the same brown coat he was wearing. He told me I had to help him get buried properly. Otherwise, he would keep coming back to the showroom every night. I called the police immediately while keeping my eyes on him. But when the police arrived, the car was gone. No signs of forced entry. No traces. They found something else, though. In the showroom back storage room wall, written in dust again, were these words. "You are safe because you listened." I quit that job the next morning. 6 months later, I heard Lakeside Motors burn down in a mysterious electrical fire at exactly 12 a.m. No one was inside. Sometimes I still hear car engines starting when I try to sleep. And sometimes I hear a man's voice thanking me for listening. I never went near used car showrooms again. I work as a freelance car photographer, and my client, a man named Richard Haynes, wanted photos of his vintage car collection before he sold the building. The showroom was old. Dust covered every glass window, and the neon sign outside flickered like it was breathing slowly. Richard was a quiet man. He just handed me the keys and said, "Stay inside before midnight. Lights sometimes turn off by themselves." I thought he was joking. The setup started simple. The showroom smelled like old leather seats and rusted metal. Rows of cars stood under weak yellow lights. Some were classic American models, the kind people restore for shows. But something felt off. The silence was too thick. Even my footsteps sounded like someone was walking behind me. I started taking photos. The first car was a dark blue 1970 sedan. The reflection in its window looked slightly delayed, like my movements were happening a second before the reflection copied them. I ignored it. Then I heard the first sound. It was like someone softly knocking from inside one of the car trunks. Not loud, just 3 slow taps. I froze, thinking maybe it was wind or metal expanding, but there was no wind inside. The doors were closed. The building felt sealed. I checked my phone. 11:17 p.m. I walked toward the sound. The knocking stopped when I got closer, which made my chest tighten. I opened the trunk of the blue sedan slowly. Nothing inside except an old spare tire and some dusty papers with names written on them. The names were scratched out, but I remember one clearly. Sarah L., 2009. I felt stupid for being scared. I closed the trunk and kept working. That was when the lights above me started flickering in a pattern. Not random, like someone was counting. Flicker, 1 second, flicker, 1 second, flicker, 3 seconds, then darkness. Complete darkness. I heard breathing, not mine. Someone was breathing behind me, slow and heavy, like they were standing very close. I turned my camera flashlight on. The beam shook in my hand. No one was there. But on the glass window of a red sports car, I saw footprints forming slowly on the dusty floor. Like invisible feet were walking toward me, leaving marks in real time. I backed up until my back touched another car door. Then I heard a whisper, "Don't stay after midnight." The voice sounded like a young woman, scared and tired. The lights suddenly turned back on. Everything was normal again. No footprints, no breathing, just silence. I checked my watch. 11:58 p.m. I decided to leave immediately. I grabbed my camera bag and walked toward the exit door. That's when I noticed something worse. The exit door was locked from the outside. I tried the keys Richard gave me. None worked. My heart started pounding louder than I ever felt before. Behind me, I heard car engines starting one by one. Not all at once. First one car, then another, like someone was sitting inside them, turning keys slowly. I didn't look back. I just waited, breathing fast, hoping this was some kind of prank. Then the clock on the wall hit 12 a.m., and every car alarm in the showroom started screaming at the same time. The scare became real at midnight. The alarms were so loud my ears hurt. I covered them, but the noise felt like it was coming from inside my head. Then I saw movement through the glass windows of the cars. People, not real people. Shadows shaped like people sitting in driver's seats, heads tilted sideways like they were sleeping. But their eyes were open, completely black eyes. No whites, just dark holes watching me. One of the car doors slowly opened by itself. The red sports car door. It creaked like it hadn't been opened in decades. I heard footsteps again, this time louder, walking directly toward me from the opposite side of the showroom. I turned my flashlight toward the sound. I saw a woman. She looked around 30, wearing an old 2000s business suit. Her face was pale, lips cracked like she hadn't drank water in days. She spoke calmly, but her voice was shaky. "You shouldn't have stayed. They hate witnesses." "Who?" I asked, my voice barely working. "The people who died here." She told me her name was Laura Bennett. She said she was a former employee. Years ago, the showroom owner had been involved in illegal car sales scams. One night, he locked several employees inside the building when police came. A fire started in the basement storage area. No one escaped. Sometimes, she said, they come back at midnight. They think people are still alive inside the cars. My blood turned cold. Then I heard knocking again, louder this time. Not from trunks, from inside car roofs. Like people were trapped inside metal shells, trying to break out slowly. Laura grabbed my arm suddenly. Her grip felt icy. "Don't make noise. They follow sound." But it was too late. My camera bag slipped from my shoulder and hit the floor. The sound echoed. All the car doors in the showroom slammed open at once. Hard, like someone gave a signal. I saw figures climbing out of cars. Burn marks on their skin. Some are missing fingers. Some are missing half their faces. They moved slowly toward me, dragging feet across the floor, whispering my name, even though I never told them who I was. Laura pushed me toward the storage hallway. "There's a back exit. Go now." I ran. I could hear them behind me, breathing, whispering, saying things like "stay" and "join us." One grabbed my jacket, but I ripped it and kept running. The back door was rusted, but unlocked. I burst outside into cold night air and kept running until I reached my car parked 2 blocks away. I didn't stop until I was inside my car, locking the doors with shaking hands. At 12:37 a.m., I received a text message from an unknown number. It said, "Thank you for visiting. We needed one more witness." The next morning, I went back to the showroom with police. The building was completely empty. No dust, no old cars, just an empty warehouse space for sale. Richard Haynes was never found. Neither was Laura Bennett in any records. But sometimes when I'm alone at night, I still hear car engines starting slowly somewhere behind me.